Welcome back to the UFC Predictions Tracker channel, where we track all picks made by UFC YouTube channels. This week we have UFC 303 with 13 fights, and the main event is Alex Pereira versus Jiri Prochazka, fighting for the light heavyweight belt. I've added two new things to the channel. Besides the American odds, I also now have decimal odds for the people who are more used to that. And now you can also see how much you can potentially win with a $100 bet placed on each fighter. Secondly, I've added a new overview this week to see which YouTubers are playing it safe by picking mostly the favorite fighter in odds, and which YouTubers are picking against the odds or taking more risk, but for a potential bigger payout. This week I've tracked a total of 61 UFC YouTube predictors. At the time of recording this video, 45 of those 61 made predictions for this event, and 16 still haven't made or uploaded their predictions video. Once they do, their predictions will be included in the results video for this event this coming Sunday. I've tracked a total of 551 predictions from those 45 channels, which we will go over right now. Alright, we start with the early prelims with Ricky Simon versus Vinicius Oliveira in a bantamweight fight. Ricky is the favorite by the Tapology community with 63% of the picks. Most think it will be a decision if he wins. In odds, Ricky is also the favorite with minus 242 odds. A $100 bet could earn you $41 if he wins the fight. Vinicius is the underdog with plus 194 odds for a potential win of $194. So, what do the UFC YouTubers predict? Most of them think that Ricky will win as well. 33 out of 42 predict him to win, or 79%. And for Vinicius, 9 out of 42 channels think that he has a chance to win, or 21%. Next is Tsuruya versus Carlos Hernandez in a flyweight fight. Tsuruya is a huge favorite at Tapology with 91% of the picks. Most think he will win by a submission. And I just noticed that the pictures of the fighters are accidentally on the wrong side. Anyway, Tsuruya is also a huge favorite with minus 493 average odds, and a $100 bet will only pay you $20 if he wins the fight. Carlos Hernandez is a big underdog with plus 361 odds, and the predictions from the UFC YouTubers agree as well. 37 out of 42 think that Tsuruya will win, or 88%, and 5 or 4 without ChatGPT predict that Carlos Hernandez can win, or 12%. So yeah, not looking so good for Carlos here. Then we've got a heavyweight brawl between Andrei Arlovski and Martin Buday with a 13-year age difference. Most on Tapology think that Buday will win by decision. 74% pick him to win. In odds, Andrei Arlovski is also the underdog with plus 204 odds for a potential win of $204 if he wins. And Martin Buday has minus 257 odds. And Arlovski is also the underdog with picks from YouTubers. Only 9 out of 41 predict him to win, or 22%. Martin Buday gets 32 picks out of 41 for a total of 78% of the picks. The last fight on the early prelims is between Waterson-Gomez and Gillian Robertson in the women's strawweight. In this fight, there's also a pretty big age difference of 9 years. Robertson is the favorite, getting 88% of the picks on Tapology, and most of them think that she will win by a submission. Michelle is the underdog in odds with plus 151, and Gillian the favorite with minus 184 odds. 10 out of 40 or 25% of all predictions think that Michel can win this fight, but most channels agree with the odds makers and Tapology. 30 out of 40 or 75% are predicting that Gillian Robertson will win this fight. The opener of the prelims is a bantamweight fight between Payton Talbot versus Yanis Ghemmouri, and this is a ridiculous fight in picks and odds. As you can see, 98% of the Tapology community predicts that Talbot will win. What kind of odds do you think he has? Well, he is a huge favorite with minus 1683 average odds. I've never seen such a huge favorite on this channel before. You can win a whopping $6 if you bet $100 on him. But on the other hand, if somehow Yanis managed to win, you could win $878. How many YouTubers think that Yanis will win? Well, 0. This is also the first time on this channel that someone gets 100% of the picks. I had to adjust the size and spacing of the text to even fit all of these 42 channels. If Yanis was from Brazil though, he would get a pick from Manny Mocano. But he's from France, so 0 picks for him. The next fight is a lot closer. It is a featherweight fight between Jourdain and Jean Silva. The favorite on Tapology is Silva, getting 54% of the picks. But the odds makers don't see him as the favorite. He is a very small underdog with minus 113 odds. And Jourdain is the small favorite with minus 118 odds. So very close. Do the YouTubers predictors agree with the Tapology community or with the odds makers? Well, they agree with the Tapology community. 22 out of 41 or 54% think that Jean Silva wins this fight versus Jourdain, who gets 19 out of 41 picks or 45%, which makes Jean Silva a underdog in odds but a favorite in picks. Is this potentially a good bet to make? What do you think? Next, we have another featherweight fight between Swanson and Andrei Fili. Fili gets 59% of the picks on Tapology, and most people think this fight will go to a decision. Swanson is the underdog with plus 200 and Andrei Fili has minus 248 average odds. And if we look at the predictions from the YouTube channels, they also have Swanson as the underdog. 12 out of 42 or 90 or 29% think that Cap will win this fight, and 30 out of 42 or 71% predict that Andrei Fili wins this fight. Then up next is a middleweight fight between Joey Pyfer and Marc-Andre Barriault. Pyfer is the huge favorite, getting 91% of the picks from the Tapology community. In odds, it's not looking as bad, but still Joey Pyfer is a big favorite with minus 302 odds. A $100 bet could earn you $33. Marc-Andre is the underdog with plus 238 average odds. So, what do the YouTubers predictors think? Well, Marc-Andre is even a bigger underdog, according to them. Joey Pyfer is a huge favorite, and 42 out of 43 or 98% predict that he wins this fight. Who is this one person that predicts Marc-Andre to win? Is it Manny Mocano? No, it's Premium Picks. Guess we will have to wait until Saturday to see how premium his pick was. Then, before we go to the main card, if you enjoy this video and find the content helpful, then don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Then, for the first fight of the main event, we have a welterweight fight between Ian Machado Garry versus Michael Venom Page. 63% of the Tapology community predicts that Michael Venom Page wins this fight. But The odds makers disagree. Ian is the favorite with minus 155 odds. A $100 bet could earn you $65 if he wins. Michael Page is the underdog with plus 130 odds. Most YouTubers agree with the odds makers and also predict that Ian Garry wins this fight. 26 out of 45 pick him to win, or 58%. And 19 out of 45 think that Michael Page will win. The next fight on the main card is a bantamweight fight between Mayra Bueno Silva versus Macy Chiasson. Silva is a big favorite, getting 79% of the picks on Tapology. In odds though, it is basically a coin flip, with minus 111 and minus 110 odds for Silva and Macy. And with the predictions from the YouTubers, it is basically also a coin flip. Silva gets 19 out of 39 or 49% of the picks, and Macy gets 20 out of 39 or 51% of the picks. So yeah, in odds and picks, this is a 50-50 fight. Then we got a light heavyweight fight between Anthony Smith and Roman Dolidze. Smith gets 69% of the picks on Tapology, making him the favorite, and most think that this fight will end in a decision. In odds though, Smith is the underdog with plus 120 average odds, and Dolidze has minus 145 average odds. So, who is the favorite of the YouTube predictors? Anthony Smith is the favorite. 26 out of 44 channels predict him to win, or 59%. Dolidze gets 18 picks, or 41%. So, again on this card, we have a fighter that is the underdog in odds and the favorite in picks. So, who do you think win this fight? Do you agree with the odds makers or the YouTube predictors? The co-main event of the evening is between Brian Ortega and Diego Lopes. 73% of the Tapology community predict that Diego wins this fight and he wins by a KO or TKO. In odds, Diego is also a favorite over Brian Ortega. Ortega is the underdog with plus 122 average odds, and Diego the favorite with minus 148 odds. And the YouTube predictors agree. Diego is a big favorite. 34 out of 45 or 76% predict him to win this fight. Brian only gets 11 out of 45 or 24% of the picks from the UFC channels. Then, the last fight of the main event is of course the title fight between Alex Pereira and Jiri Prochazka, fighting for the second time for the light heavyweight belt. Alex gets 75% of the picks from the Tapology community, and almost everyone predicts that this fight will end in a KO or TKO. And also in odds, Alex is the favorite, with average odds of minus 141 versus Jiri, who is the underdog with plus 116. But according to the predictions made by the UFC YouTubers, it is not as close as the odds makers. Alex is a big favorite and 35 out of 45 predict him to win this fight, or 78%. And Jiri only gets 10 out of 45 or 22% of the picks. Now we take a quick look at which channels play it safe by picking mostly the favorite fighters in odds. BetSlam with Sam made 100% of his bets on favorite fighters, but I don't think it will stay like this. I expect him to make more predictions for this event, but when I made this video, he had only made 5 shorts of predictions. Then 10 channels are going pretty safe. They choose the favorite fighter 12 times out of their 13 picks. Which channels like to go against the odds and take a little bit more risk with their predictions? Well, Clanbot and Paul from Mayo Media Network have 6 underdogs out of their 13 picks for 46% underdogs. ChatGPT and Rigo have 7 underdogs out of their 13 picks and chose the underdog 54% of the time. Israel only made 5 predictions for this card, but he chose the underdog 3 out of 5 times for 60%. Alright, see you this Sunday for the results video where we find out who was the best predictor for this event. Thank you for watching.